Roar Uthaug's 2022 film, Troll, follows a group of people trying to prevent a 150-foot-tall troll wreaking chaos and destruction in Norway. The film, released on Netflix, received positive feedback, pushing Uthaug to work on Troll 2, a sequel you can expect to see on Netflix by December 2025. This creature feature introduced the world to the mysterious and mythical Norwegian trolls. Let's take a look at all the lore we know about them, but not before you tap that subscribe button and bell icon to stay updated with all of our most marvelous content. What are trolls? When we say troll, many of you might think of giant creatures with huge bulging eyes straight out of a fearsome nightmare, while some of you might think of tiny mischievous creatures, the kind that Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick voiced in the colorful animated film Trolls. Which one is right though? The answer is probably both. While some cultures believe trolls are giants, many others use troll to refer to any and all evil creatures. So there's no way of actually describing a troll. Take the etymology of the word itself. Troll in Old Norse means fiend or demon. Other words that troll was probably derived from include trollderi, from Danish, meaning magic or enchantment, and trial, from Danish and Norwegian, meaning to do magic. Whatever their depiction, everyone agrees that these creatures are usually evil. The origins and mythology of trolls. Trolls, like the Norse word thurs, are used to refer to the Jotnar, a group of malevolent giants who were enemies of humans and gods. One of the earliest references to a troll can be traced back to Skald Skaparmal, the second part of the prose Edda, where the Skald, Bragi Boddason, encounters a troll woman. She describes herself as the swallower of the sun and the wealth sucker of the giant and demands an introduction. Bragi describes his abilities as a skald when he introduces himself, and the scene ends. Mythology researcher and scholar Laud Motz tried to classify the mythical beings of Norse mythology, as there is some significant overlap in the use of the terms Jotun, Troll, Risi, and Thurs. He believed that Jotun were the lords of nature, while trolls were mythical magicians. Still, this classification is controversial, as scholar Armin Jacobson points out that the term troll has been used to describe a wide variety of beings, including Jotun, witches, and ugly people, and even ghosts, boars, and demons. Scandinavian folklore and mythology are more specific, depicting trolls as old, slow, and stupid, yet incredibly strong. They look much more like human beings in appearance and aren't as hideous as Norse mythology claims. They are equally evil though, as they love eating human beings and their only weakness is sunlight. They turn to stone immediately upon contact with sunlight. Another popular belief is that these beings fear lightning and that they disappear whenever it strikes. This is tied to the story of Thor, the god of thunder and lightning, who fought the trolls and defeated many of them. Every time lightning strikes, they fear Thor is back again and run for cover. The later introduction of Christianity in these parts added to the lore that trolls were afraid of church bells and that they all cleared out when the church bells rang. They didn't leave without a fight though, as many folk stories say that the trolls tried to destroy the churches before their construction was completed by hurling large stones and boulders at them. Types of troll. In Nordic narrative culture, two different types of trolls are observed. The first is the troger, a large creature that resembles an ogre. They're called trolls in Iceland, Jotun in Norwegian stories, Jate in Swedish, and Joet or Trold in Danish. They are primordial creatures that originated with the universe. They were anti-heroes against both God and man, and after the advent of Christianity, the church as well. There are depictions of these impure creatures attacking churches and priests. They can also be traced back to Scandinavian mythology that we just described, and they live in mountains, cliffs, and caves. A familiar name for them is mountain troll, and they seem to have powers connected to nature as they can cause hurricanes and avalanches. The second kind are the troblins, small and troublesome creatures that live in communities far away from humans, usually in underground caves. Even then, they have no problem stirring up trouble, and their favorite prank is swapping human babies for their own. There are instances in folklore of the troblins creating chaos during Christmas, their favorite time of year to start trouble. They would break into houses, throw parties, and make so much noise outside that people inside could not celebrate the year-end festival, knock on doors demanding a drink. Some troll stories. A famous troll tale tells the story of Ashaladden, farmer's son who had to get wood from the forest. Ashaladden's father was depending on him as his two elder brothers had returned empty-handed after being scared away by a troll. Ashaladden set out with a piece of cheese just in case he felt the need to nibble. He encountered the troll as well, who threatened to fight him, and Ashaladdin said that the troll would be no match for him as he could squeeze the water out of a rock. To demonstrate, he placed a rock and the cheese in his arm and pressed. As the troll saw the rock drip, he was impressed and invited him for a meal after he chopped up the wood. At the troll's house, the troll was tending to the fire and asked Ashaladdin to bring him 2 buckets of water. The buckets were so big that our hero understood that he would be better off fibbing, so he announced that the buckets were too small and that he'd bring the whole spring instead. The troll, not wanting to drown his home, asked him to tend to the fire while he fetched the water instead. Once the food was done, Ashaladdin made up his mind to get rid of the troll for good, so he invited him to an eating contest and shoved food into the knapsack he was hiding in his shirt. The troll, too busy trying to defeat him, didn't notice the cheating. In the midst of the contest, Ashaladdin announced that he was too full, but since he wanted to win, he made a show of cutting open his stomach. In reality, he was slashing open the knapsack. The stupid troll imitated him and cut his stomach open. When he died, Ashaladdin took all of his gold and silver and went home, where his father cleared all their debts. If you didn't like that one, don't worry, we've got another tale. This one is called The 3 Billy Goats Gruff. Long ago, there were 3 billy goats who were all named Gruff. They decided to go up to the hillside to eat, but on the way they had to cross a bridge that ran over a stream. Under that bridge lived an ugly troll, huge eyes that resembled saucers, and a nose so long it could be a poker. The troll ate anyone who crossed the bridge. When the first goat crossed, the sound of the bridge awoke the troll and declared that it would eat the goat. The goat asked him to wait for the second billy goat Gruff, as he was bigger than him. The troll let the first goat go, and when the second arrived, he attacked once more. The second goat asked him to wait for the third goat since he was much bigger, and again the troll sent him off. When the third billy goat came, the troll said he would gobble him up, but the third goat was not a coward. He said that he had 2 spears to poke out his eyes and curling stones to crush his body and bones. With that, the goat attacked and carried out his words before continuing on his journey. The 3 goats then reached the hillside and ate so much that they scarcely made it back home. The most popular Norwegian troll is the fictional Dovregubben, a troll king invented by the writer Henrik Ibsen, featured in the famous play Peer Gynt. In a dream sequence, the titular hero of the play meets the daughter of the troll king and takes him to her father's mountain hall. The king offers to turn him into a troll if he marries his daughter. Although initially enticed, Peer says no, but the king angrily demands the wedding as his daughter is pregnant. Peer protests, saying that he never touched her. The king points out that he had begotten the child in his mind. This story also inspired composer Edvard Grieg to create In the Hall of the Mountain King, an orchestral piece you've probably heard before. Where can you find trolls? If you're thinking of heading to Norway soon, there are many places that claim to host trolls or their remains. One of the most famous spots is Trolltunga, translated as the Troll's Tongue. It's a romantic rock formation that boasts a breathtaking view, and legend claims that this is where trolls gathered to look down on the world below. It's 3,600 feet above sea level, and it's just over 10,000 years old. Although the hike up is strenuous, it's definitely worth it for the scenic view it provides. Legends say that the Norwegian coast was covered with trolls, and during this time, a troll king ruled. He had 8 daughters, whom he raised as a strict disciplinarian. He never let them leave the house. But one night, having had enough of the walls they were inside, the sisters broke out and snuck off to the beach in Landegå. In the moonlight, they danced and enjoyed themselves. Their merriment threw joy into the air, which was sensed by Hestmanen, the neighboring troll prince. Hestmanen was a good prince and an expert hunter, but he didn't have good luck with the ladies. While observing the 8 sisters, he fell in love with Lekmoya, the eldest, who was responsible for taking care of her younger sisters. He didn't want to be away from her and decided to kidnap her the very second he could. Armed with his hunting equipment, the troll prince set off on his horse, but the sisters sensed him and ran away. This chase continued for a long time until the 7 younger sisters were exhausted. While Lekmoya kept running, the 7 rested on the island of Alstein. Lekmoya jumped from Veldfjord to Brønnøysund, which enraged Hestmanen so much that he decided that he would rather see her dead than let her go. So furious was he that he pulled out his bow. The troll kings in the mountains were all watching this chase with great interest. One of the kings, the ruler of Somnafile, saw what Hestmanen was doing and disapproved. To save Lekmoya, he hurled his hat towards the arrow. The arrow pierced the hat and fell on Torget, while Lekmoya leaped again and reached the island of Leka, where she accidentally dropped the butter she was carrying. The spilled butter is what caused the mountains in northwestern Leka to turn yellow. By this time, the sun had risen and converted the hat, Hestmanen, and Lekmoya into mountains and rocks. The Norwegian legend goes that the hat is what is known as Thorgotten today. In another version of the story, the king only had 7 daughters, and he was so irritated by their antics that he sent his maid, Lekmoya, to look after them while he rested. The version also says that the princesses, all charmed by Hestmanen, stopped in front of his horse to let him catch them. All he could see was Lekmoya. Geologists say that Thorgotten rose around 420 million years ago, and whichever story you decide to believe, Thorgotten is a must-visit vacation spot. If you want to walk the paths that trolls themselves created with their giant feet, visit Trollstigen, translated to Troll's Path, a long mountain road that snakes through dramatic landscapes. Last but not least is the Trollheimen, a rugged and vast mountain range in central Norway where trolls lived once upon a mythical time. The view is stunning and breathtaking. This is the place you want to visit if you want to find out more about trolls, considering Trollheimen is also known as home of the trolls in Rindal, and it's the first and only research station established for the sole purpose of studying trolls. They allow visitors to explore their laboratories and borrow their troll detectors to see if they can find any actual trolls. Trolls in movies. As we mentioned before, the story of Norwegian trolls is expected on Netflix soon, but they're not the first ones to portray trolls. J.R.R. Tolkien introduced most of us to trolls with The Hobbit and eventually The Lord of the Rings, where they're big and dumb and turn to rock in the sunlight. If you like Disney films, you might remember trolls as wise and smart, helping Elsa to hide her powers and revive her sister Anna in the movie Frozen. Trolls are also a massive part of the wizarding world created by J.K. Rowling. The 2010 Norwegian film The Troll Hunter is an excellent film to watch if you like trolls, as it utilizes a lot of Norwegian folklore in its plot. Marvelous verdict! When we think of trolls nowadays, we're usually imagining no good commenters on the internet who do nothing but troll and rage bait. What an insult to these majestic mythical creatures. Which movie troll is your favorite? Let us know in the comments down below, and if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. We'll soon be back with more awesome content, but until then, stay away from trolls, mythical or otherwise. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.